Standard 23. We made it. The last standard in U.S. history, Georgia Standard of Excellence. We're going to be talking about modern politics. And in modern politics, we're going to be assessing the political, technological, and economic changes since 1981. So these are the key terms you need to make sure you get. And here we go. So what's going on here? We have on the left, the Berlin Wall is falling, and on the right, actual people pushing down the Berlin Wall. And the Berlin Wall is known as this Iron Curtain that had descended over Europe back in the 1940s, where on the east side is communists, and on the west side is democratic Western nations led by the U.S., and that was the symbol of the Cold War. So what's happening here? Well, the Soviet Union is collapsing. It's collapsing because Reagan is going to spend a lot of money to try to drive the Soviet Union bankrupt, and it worked. So Mikhail Gorbachev, the leader of the Soviet Union, also is going to talk to Reagan, and Reagan is going to be able to convince him to employ glasnost, which glasnost is some freedom of speech and freedom of assembly, and Reagan is going to challenge Mr. Gorbachev and say, tear down that wall. And Mr. Gorbachev, the wall is going to be torn down, 1989, and the Soviet Union is going to end up collapsing. This signals an end to the Cold War, which Reagan is going to be praised for. So domestically, Reagan is going to employ his Reaganomics. And Reaganomics is going to include what's on the right. He's going to spend a lot of money on defense, and on the left, he is going to invest a lot of money into the wealthy. This Reaganomics is going to lead to the U.S. deficits going up, and the things that Reaganomics is going to include is a tax cut for the wealthy people. And Reagan thought by cutting taxes for the wealthy people, putting more money back into their pockets, they would invest that money into the economy. Reagan was going to increase defense spending in order to outspend the Soviet Union to end the Cold War. And he was going to cut social welfare, things that we talked about in Great Society and the New Deal, like Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security type stuff. So the next president that we're going to talk about is Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton is in some deep water. And he's in deep water because Bill Clinton is going to have an affair with White House intern Monica Lewinsky, where he comes to Congress and under oath says he did not have sexual relations with that woman. That's going to be a lie, and because of that, he's going to be impeached because of perjury and obstruction of justice, but he's going to be acquitted. So Bill Clinton is the second president to be impeached. The first one was Andrew Johnson. Make sure you remember that. And even though Bill Clinton was impeached, he was acquitted. That means he was released of his charges. He remained as president and finished out his term. And these are the review questions. Make sure you're able to go back and answer those. So moving on, 9/11, a very, very tragic day. A day that will live in infamy along with Pearl Harbor, where planes crash into the World Trade Center. So you also have plane crashing into the Pentagon. You also had a plane crash into a field in Pennsylvania. And these planes were all hijacked by Al-Qaeda, led by Osama bin Laden. So because of these attacks, we launch a war on terror. We go into Afghanistan and Operation Enduring Freedom to get Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda. We also, 2 years later, launch Operation Iraqi Freedom to get Saddam Hussein, who is supposed to be giving weapons to terrorists, weapons of mass destruction, that is. So George Bush domestically is going to put in place the Patriot Act, which allows the government to try to stop these terrorists in America by tapping into people's private communication. They're also going to create the Department of Homeland Security in order to respond to terrorist attacks and respond to natural disasters. So this Operation Enduring Freedom, as we talked about, the invasion of Afghanistan in order to get Osama bin Laden. You have Operation Iraqi Freedom in order to get weapons of mass destruction away from Saddam Hussein, who's trying to give it to terrorists. And in 2011, ordered by Barack Obama, you're going to have the U.S. is going to kill Al-Qaeda's leader, Osama bin Laden, and we're going to move on. So the technological changes that we're going to talk about, you have social media and the internet. So social media is going to impact politics because like Obama in 2008, he's able to get his information out to people, especially the young people, through social media so that they could vote for him. We see the impact of social media on the election today, where people can put out information, whether it's true or false information about political people, and that will impact the election. Internet is going to have an impact because the internet is going to allow for businesses to use the internet in order to sell stuff. We see it all the time these days with Amazon, where people order a lot of stuff offline. It's very, very important to know that the internet is going to impact the economy because businesses are able to sell stuff offline and people don't have to go into stores. So the election of 2008, Barack Obama gets elected in 2008, the first black president in U.S. history. And in 2009, he has this great inauguration where a lot of people show up. There's a lot of people show up to Barack Obama inauguration versus other inaugurations, as you see all the way on the right, 2017, not as many people, right? It just shows you the mass amount of people that was at the inauguration in 2009. So the historic nature of 2008's presidential election, Barack Obama, the first black president. And these are the review questions. Make sure you're able to go back and answer those. And that's all, folks. Hopefully you will be like these kids after you listen to the videos and study and take your test. You'll be so happy. You'll be jumping up and down with your friends, celebrating, showing off your scores, and you'll make your teacher very, very happy and make them feel like a good teacher. So make sure you comment. If this helps you, make sure you comment. Leave a comment. Tell me what your score is. I'll make sure I comment and reply back to you. You guys be great. Make sure you go back and review the videos and keep it up so you can score good on those tests.